Hello. The video you're about to watch has taken place over the last year or so. Technically, it's still ongoing. It's about the renovation of our living room. It'll involve stripping wallpaper, having a plasterer plaster a very big wall because I conceded that one to the professional, lifting the carpet, lifting the underlay, taking off the skirting boards, taking off the coving, taking off the door frame, taking off the door, flipping the door, taking off the curtain wall batons, and then putting it all back with new stuff. So we used a parquet floor. It was engineered wood and it was unstained. So we had to choose a stain and choose a finish. And like at one point you're young and fun, and then the next minute you're having serious conversations about how shiny your floor should be. So like that'd be a warning to you young people. This was all done after work or at the weekends, because obviously it's not my job to DIY my own house. I'm a visual effects artist for computer games, so very different job to joiner, for example. But my dad was a joiner, and I have been a labourer before in the past with a little bit of joinery, working on building sites. So I was like, I could do this. And hey, we got there in the end. So my self-belief is unwavering. This also isn't a tutorial video. This is basically just to document what we did and hopefully maybe inspire some people to do it themselves if they feel like, I could maybe do that. Because honestly, you probably could. It's not rocket science. There will be mistakes along the way, because we certainly made some. I'll put them at the end of the video and you can hopefully learn from them. But to be honest, everything, even with mistakes, looks infinitely better than what we started with. So yeah, enough babbling, roll the montage. So I'm going to walk you through things that I learned on this and the mistakes that we made and how we fixed them, just to warn you guys not to do the same. Obviously watching YouTube videos for reference on how to lay floor, but once you watch like one video, you're like, all right, I can do that. Well, at least I am. What we learned is don't use too much glue, because the glue can come up. Even just as you're pushing them together, it might just come round the top, and then when you push another bit in, glue will come up through the gap. So don't use too much glue. As you'll see, I have to end up scraping glue off the top of the planks and then sanding it down. Otherwise, the stain and the varnish won't soak in. Also, something that I learned is nothing is straight and nothing is square, because there's a bit of warping on either the wall or the floor or the ceiling or all of them. So you just have to kind of fix these things as you go along. We had some gaps in flooring that if we fixed it one place, it would throw it off over there. So you just kind of have to find the middle ground, and if there's any particularly bad spots, what we did is filled it in with a little bit of the dust from cutting the wood. It reduces the big dark gaps that you would see, and it kind of worked out okay. Another thing that happened was when we were putting on the varnish with the roller, left big streaks, as you'll see now. So luckily this was only the first coat. I needed a few coats, so noticed it straight away, thankfully. So the second coat, just be very precise with it, make sure there's not really any marks, don't use too much, don't use too little. It's just a bit of practice, I think. If there's all your furniture on it, rugs, tables, units, you're not going to notice it, so it's all good. Some other things, as I said, nothing is square, so the floor wasn't perfectly flat, and obviously the walls were wibbly wobbly. So there are parts of the floor where there's more of a gap underneath the skirting than in other areas, and then there's bits where that curves up, and then there's like no gap. You have to just try and find what works best. Like, do you want the perfect join, or is a little bit more of a shadow gap, especially in a corner, as you'll see. It's not a big deal, no one's going to notice it. So as I said, this is all still ongoing. There's a lot of painting and sanding and just finishing to do, but the majority of the legwork is all done, thankfully. I want to give a shout out to Courtney's granddad. Thank you very much. He helped fund a lot of this, because who else can do this in 2025 as two fully grown adults in full-time employment with no kids? I also want to give a shout out to my dad because of all of his sage wisdom helping me if I ever had a question, and also because I borrowed a lot of his tools. Specific shout out for helping with the cornicing, because that was really the only bit where I was like, okay, this isn't working. I need a hand. So skirting is easy enough. It's just one wall and one angle you have to worry about. The problem is I thought it would be just as easy with the coving, but not the case. So with the coving, it's not just the wall you have to worry about, you also have to take into account the ceiling. Then you have to find the middle of those. Math. Anyway, to help with that, I was like, okay, I'll buy the cheapest thing off Amazon and this will help me cut my miters. It's pish. Do not buy this. The second thing I got was this, which, to be honest, I think I could have got working, but I did a test cut with this, but it didn't quite work out. And at that point, after I had used that last thing and this didn't work first time, I was like, that's it. Dad, help. So my dad was like, don't bother using this. I'll make you a miter box. So he took a piece of my coving and then made this contraption. So if you look closely, you'll be able to see there's a miter there and also a miter here. This worked like a charm. So props to the big man. He helped me out, and after I had this, all the coving was easy, except all the walls are like that, but you know. Also a massive shout out to Courtney, because she was a great little helper through all of this, and also put up with the fact that we didn't have a living room or a dining room for a good stretch. If you have any questions, like you want to know what wood we used or what stain, whatever, drop me a message. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and good luck if you decide to do it yourself.